ለመማር ወደ ትምህርት ተቋም መሄድ ግድ አይደለም።
ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ
ራሳችሁን ከኮሮና ቫይረስ ወረርሽኝ እየጠበቃችሁ በቤታችሁ ወይም በተመቻችሁ ቦታ
በኢንተርኔት አማካኝነት በኦንላይን ትምህርታችሁን መከታተል ይቻላል።
ካናዳ ከሚገኘው ኢንተርናሽናል ኤር ትራንስፖርት አሶሲዬሽን አያታና
ከእንግሊዙ ኢንስቲትዩት ኦፍ ኮመርሻል ማኔጅመንት ICM ጋር በመተባበር የሚሰጡ ትምህርቶችን ተከታትላችሁ በ6 ወር ጊዜ በዓለም አቀፍ ደረጃ ተቀባይነት ያለውን የስልጠና ማስረጃ ባለቤት መሆን ይቻላል።
ከኢትዮጵያ ሲቪል አቪዬሽን ባለስልጣን ሙሉ ዕውቅና ባገኘንባቸው የፍላይት ኦፕሬሽን እና የሆስተስ ስልጠናም በምዝገባ ላይ ነን።
ጥያቄና መልስ፣ የክፍል ስራዎች ብሎም ፈተና መፈተን ክፍል ውስጥ እንዳላችሁ አይነት
ልምድ ባላቸው መምህራን እየተማራችሁ
በኦንላይን ባላችሁበት ቦታ
አድራሻ ከ22 ማዞሪያ ወደ ሾላ ገበያ በሚወስደው መንገድ 150 ሜትር ገባ ብሎ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ
የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ
ህልሞን እውን ያደርጋል።
Hello everyone, good afternoon. As you all know, my name is Mr. Fred. So we will see the Food and Beverage Service Management III, basically, which is related to the beverage items or bar operation. It is it had 3 credit hours. Basically, it contains different theoretical at the same time. Practical pointers or issues will be covered in this course. For today, I will give you some highlights regarding the course outline. Then starting from the next week, we will try to see in detail. When we see the Food and Beverage Service Management III, it is mainly focused on the beverage knowledge and what type of beverages are available in different food and beverage service area, like wine, spirits, beers, cocktails, and other kind of things, and how they has to be stored, how they should have to be served, and what basic ingredients which we will use in order to prepare those specific beverage items, and also what are the process or the procedure which we need to follow when we are making those alcoholic beverage, and their service care, the production country, matching wine food with drinks, and how to read labels, and lots of other points will be covered in this point or in this course. When you see the objective of the course, the first objective is to recognize, or at the end of these sessions, you will be able to recognize a different way to classify beverage. There are different methods to classify beverage. For example, based on their preparation method, we might classify them into different segments. Based on the ingredient which we use, we might classify beverages. For example, there are alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverage. We might classify based on the alcoholic content, and then we can classify the non-alcoholic one as there is carbonated non-alcoholic beverage, and there is carbonated. The non-carbonated one, like might be when you see coffee, tea, water, and juice, they are considered as non-carbonated. In the reverse, when we see soda, Coca-Cola, and other, they might be considered as carbonated. And when we see the alcoholic one, we might classify them based on the production process, as there are alcoholic beverages which are produced by the process of fermentation. At the same time, there are alcoholic beverages which are prepared by the process of distillation. Under fermentation process, the beverage items are wine and beer. Locally, we might also prepare with that process Allah and touch with the production process of fermentation. And the second one, distillation. In the distillation process, we are preparing higher alcoholic beverage, which includes whiskey, vodka, gin, tequila, rum, brandy, bitter, and others. So we can classify according to those. So after the end of this course, you will be able to understand those classification, and as I mentioned, you will be able to identify the different types of alcoholic beverage as we mentioned now, and you will be able to describe the difference among spirits. You will be able to define the difference between the vodka and the gin, the rum and the brandy, the red wine with the white wine with the rosé wine, the rosé with the sparkling wine, the table wine with the fortified wine. You will be able to define those terms. And the other one, the same to food, it has its own service procedure, the beverage one. So how we serve wine, how we serve whiskey, how we serve gin, it's totally different. So we will see those points as well. And the other one, you will be able to recognize the technique of matching food and drinks. It is also one of the most important skills in the hospitality industry. Most people didn't know that. For example, when you are eating or when you are having different kinds of beef, for example, you might have steak. What kind of beverage should we have to take? Is it white? Is it red? Is it rosé? Is it dry, medium sweet, or sweet? And lots of other. So we will see those points as well, because they are the most important thing. We need to match, we need to balance the food content intake with the alcoholic content which we drink. So we will see that point. And according to the beverage, the glass type which we use to serve is different. For example, when you are serving whiskey, we are using old-fashioned glass. When you serve martini, we will use martini glass. When we serve beer, we will use Pilsner glass and lots of other. When we serve gin, we might use Collins glass. So as per the beverage types, the type of the glass at the same time will be different. So we'll see that as well. And the other one, we will see the basic process of wine making. What are the steps? What are the procedures which we use when we are making wine? We will see those points as well. So for today, let me give you some highlights related to each chapter, and then starting from the next class, we will see one by one. So the first chapter is all about wine. All of us, we know some points related to wine, whether it's right or wrong. Most of the people know about wine, directly or indirectly. So the wine history, it will lead back to the Noah time. According to the Bible, Noah is the first person to harvest the first grape. So wine has as much old history as human being. So it is the oldest beverage in the world. So we will classify the different types of wine. Basically, most people think or thought there are three types of wine. When you ask different people, they will reply to you, we have three types of wine, like white, red, and rosé. But that's wrong. We classified wines into 3 or 4 parts. The first one, table wine. Under table wine, we have red wine, white wine, and rosé. Collectively, we call them table wine, or we can also call them still wine, because when you pour them, they will not bubble, they don't have bubble. So that we call them still wine or table wine. The second one, there is sparkling wine. As the name indicates, it will spark. In the sparkling wine, there is white, there is red, there is rosé. So what's their major difference with the table wine? Their major difference is the content of carbon dioxide. Mostly we use the name champagne. Champagne is one brand of sparkling wine. But the specific or the special characteristic of sparkling wine, it has huge concentration of carbon dioxide. So that it will give us bubbles. That's why we use for celebrations. So in order to generate that amount of carbon dioxide, we have to process the fermentation for the second time. In that case, we will acquire the highest concentration of carbon dioxide because, as we all know, fermentation process is doing breaking the sugar content of the grape into alcohol and carbon dioxide. 1 molecule of sugar will be break down into 2 molecules of alcohol and 2 molecules of carbon dioxide. So when we make the second fermentation, it will have high carbon dioxide concentration. But in terms of type, it has red, it has rosé at the same time. It has red, but the way we serve table wine and sparkling wine is different. The third one, fortified. As the name indicates, when we say fortified, we are mixing the wine with other alcoholic beverage which has higher alcoholic content. It's called fortified wine. Most of the time, when you are mixing the wine with brandy, it will give us sparkling wine. Why brandy? Why we didn't mix with whiskey or vodka? Because whiskey has 40% alcoholic content. At the same time, brandy has a 40% alcoholic content. What's the specific reason? We will see when we reach to that specific point. So the fourth, somehow some scholars, they include this in the beer category. There is sake, what we call it sake. Sake is a traditional Japanese wine. Somehow it's a kind of beer for them. The reason why they call it beer, it's prepared from rice, and the process to prepare that beverage is brewing. But why we call it wine is its alcoholic content, because it will reach to 12 up to 30 alcoholic percent. So with that alcoholic percent range, there is no beer. That alcoholic content or percentage is called for the wines. So in some books you might find us wine and you might find us a beer. But basically we classified as table wine, fortified wine, and sparkling wine. And the other one, the grape. The grape is everything for the wine. If you don't have the grape, you don't have the wine. If your grape quality is low, your wine quality is as low. If your grape doesn't have enough sugar content, your wine will not have enough alcoholic content. So the grape is the life of the wine. You are getting the juice or the liquid part of the wine from the grape by itself. We classify the grape into two. There is white grape, at the same time there is red grape. But under red grape, we have different category. Under white grape, we have different category. We will see that as well. And the other one, making and tasting wine. How we will make the wine? It has its own also procedure. So we will see that one. When we taste also, it has its own procedure. We will see that as well. And the other, naming and saying. How wines are named? Wine can be named by different reasons. For example, they might get their names from the location where they grow up. They might get their names from the grape name by himself. For example, you might be here, there is a wine which is called Cabernet Sauvignon. It's a grape name. Merlot, it's a grape name. Chardonnay, it's a grape name. You might hear Champagne, it's a place name. So it might be named after a place or a region or the grape and others. We will see that as well. And the other one, matching food with drink. We have to match the food with the wine. When we eat chicken, when we eat fish, when we eat pasta, when we eat different kinds of dishes, the type of beverage or the type of drink which we use is also different. It's not the same. For example, when you are having chicken or fish items, we might drink white wine. When we are having like steak or ready meat items, we might use the red wine. So we will see those points as well. And the other one, serving wine. The way which we serve wine has to follow its own procedure. Why? Because mostly, specifically in Ethiopia, the way we serve wine has no difference with the way we serve beer, but it has to be different. Beer has its own technique, at the same time, wine has its own technique to serve. So we need to follow those things. So we will see that as well. The second one, or the second chapter, it's about spirit. When we say spirit, they are alcoholic beverage, which their alcoholic content might rate on average 40%. Or they are alcoholic beverage which are prepared by the process of distillation. They are called spirit, like as you can see in your course of wine, whiskey, brandy, rum, vodka, tequila, liquor, bitters, and lots of others. They can be considered as spirit. So, starting from the next time, we will see in details. What is whiskey? How we prepare whiskey? How we serve whiskey? What's the health benefit of whiskey? What's the illness or the harmful effects of whiskey, brandy, rum, vodka, tequila, and other? We will see those points as well. The third chapter, beer. In the case of beer, if you know, people start to make brewing before they start to make baking a bread. In the lab, they start to prepare the beer production process before they know how to bake a bread. So beer has also a long history, even if it may not reach to the wine, but it has the oldest history as well. So we will see the definition of the beer and the beer production process, and what ingredients which we use to prepare this beer, how to store beer, how to serve beer, what are the main ingredients which we use to prepare beer. So we will cover those points in this chapter. So basically, we will try to see those 3 points, or in this case, basically the main aim of this subject is to develop a knowledge related to beverage. Most of the employees who are working in the hospitality industry, they might have a gap on those terms. So you will be able to know those points in a good manner. I will give you different videos and materials which might help you to refer those pointers. So we will see those things as well. So it has a practical session. It has the first chapter. When we most of them they are related to the practical, the next chapters. For example, the fourth one is taking order of alcoholic beverage and label reading. We will see how we need to receive the order of the beer at the same time. How to read a label. Label has its own information. Basically, we classified label into 2 parts. There is front label, there is a back label. The information which we get in the front label is different from the back label. Basically, we get basic information in the front label. And if you need to know further, we might see the back label. So we will see that point about the wine, the spirit, and the spirit in the beer. And the other one, service of wine. In the case of service, we will see the mise en place. We learn about the mise en place, what are the preparation which we need to do before we start to serve the wine, and how to clean and polish the wine glass, and how to carry wine glass. And there are different methods. We might carry by a tray, a service tray, and sometimes we might also carry using our hands. So we will see those 2 techniques, and how to open wine bottle. Most of the time in our country, it's noisy when you open the wine bottle, but it has its own procedure. It's unprofessional. So we will see how to open the wine bottle professionally. In this, the opening bottle, we will see the table or still wine, how to open those table wine, how to open the sparkling wine, and the other serving wine at the table by glass or the bottle. We will exercise how to serve wines at one specific table. So there might be 5 or 6 person, or it might be more than that. So how we are serving, from whom which we start to serve the wine. So we will see those points as well. The other one, service of spirit. In the case of service of spirit, how we serve whiskey, gin, and rum, how we serve vodka, how we serve brandy, how we serve liquor, tequila, bitter, and others. We'll see those points in this area. And the other practical class, it will be related to service of beer. When we are making specific each topic, because the way we serve beer is totally different from the service of spirit. The way we serve spirit is totally different from the service of wine. So we need to see each one by one. The other one, selling drinks. Most of the time we are selling what the guests are ordered, but we need to upsell. We need to increase our sales or revenue using different selling techniques. For example, some people might order the cheapest one, but by explaining them, by telling them the quality of the expensivest wine, they might shift their demand. Because of the aging, we'll see what the term aging and lots of other things is. Because of different factors, as we know, as the wines become more aged, the quality will be higher. So that we need to encourage our customers to drink the oldest wine, not the youngest one, from the economical perspective of view. Some people, they might think they are only thinking for the hotel, but it's wrong. When you tell for the customers, you have the oldest wine, and when you serve them, you might charge them the highest amount of money, but they get the highest or the premium satisfaction. The taste is totally different. The aroma, the bouquet is different. So that we are giving them a chance to exercise or to experience the exceptional feeling, the highest quality taste. So we need to consider that as well. So we need to use our personal selling techniques. And when you see the assessment, you might have quiz, final exam, and the practical attendance and class participation. This is some pointers about the course outline. This is all about for the course outline, starting from the next class. We will see in detail. Thank you for your time.